Hi everyone, welcome back to Live Darts. We're here at the Citywest in Dublin and we've got something a little bit different for you all now. We've got PDC Player Marshal Dean Williams with us. Dean, thanks for joining us. Just a unique bit of content that maybe the Joe public doesn't get to see and hear some of the stories. You've been with the PDC now for a long time as player, marker and now Players Marshal.
Yes, it's been a long time now. With between the three, probably about 15, 16 years now, from being a player to being asked when I was still playing by the late Tommy Cox and Dick Alex. It was in Peter Manley's wedding in Las Vegas. Would I be interested in joining the crew? At the time I said no, because I still wanted to play. Still thought, I hadn't given nowhere near what I knew I could give to the game, but I loved the game so much, and then obviously I needed a job. The job offer was still there the year after, and then I started just doing running the tournaments on the weekend, which used to be in the pubs then instead of the halls where they are now in the leisure centres, and then marking on TV. And I think the first one I marked the UK Open, and then the first match I was very nervous. I had goosebumps actually when they announced the players on. I'm thinking, in my head, this could have been me walking down here, but it was very, very excitable at the time. And strangely for me, for our player would feel going on there to marking on it and doing it, I was nervous.
Do you have any regrets about maybe going too soon, about the playing side of it, that you didn't fulfil what you wanted to?
To be truthful, yes, but it's a lot different now, which I say to a lot of the new ones coming along now. There's management out there now who's always looking to help players, financially, and if they could. It wasn't so much around then, and I had 4 children, mortgaged. I was just getting on the ladder on the mortgage, and so jobs in Wales ain't very high paid, so I couldn't really afford it. And you can't play darts when you got to win money. You've got to be relaxed. And when I was relaxed, I could win anything. I could beat anyone. But it's different roads in life, and I ended up on the road working for the darts instead of playing.
For the best part of over a decade now, you've been Players Marshal. You've seen the very best come and go. What's that like, working with the players close hand and getting to know them as friends, not celebrities like most people know them?
Yeah, it's been, I say that obviously we'll go to obviously 16-time world champion Phil Taylor, which was obviously, as a dart player, everyone wanted to be him at the time, before Michael came along, I was friendly with a lot of them anyway. That's why I was asked by Tommy, because I got on with a lot of people. They asked me would I be interested, and like I said, it's a job. What I'm doing now with the Players Marshal, it's changed a lot over the years, and you see people come and go, and you see people around for a long time, up and down in the rankings, and it's getting very hard to stay there now. Whereas years ago, it was a little bit easier to stay there because there wasn't so many good players coming through, especially with the youth system and everything now, and the Challenge Tour, which you see a lot of the older dart players end up on the Challenge Tour. But friends, I class a lot of them as friends. I get on. We have good banter. We have very good banter, and to me, it's they're all taking it as a job now instead of a pastime where it was when we first started doing it. It wasn't. I never thought it'd be as big as what it is. And it's actually a job for everybody now, which is why the standard is gone right up through the roof.
I'm guessing that a lot came from Phil as well, because he was the first one that said to everyone, this isn't a hobby or a sport, or this is my job and this is my living. He was the one that set that bar for everyone else, wasn't he?
He was, and what Phil done, and you know, I used to speak to him. You know, when I was playing, I went to his pub when he had the pub, and he invited us here. I was with the late great Leighton Rees. We went there for practice, and we had a good chat, and he took it as right. I started off at the bottom. And what he did, he started off as like an apprentice, as like everyone is in a job, you know, and then you work your way up, and he become the boss. You know, he become the boss of, to me, as you call the firm. He took it as a job, where a lot of players didn't really, you know, they still took it as the pastime sport that we always used to play around the clubs and the pubs. You know, that's where it all started. But Phil took it to that other level where players are now doing now where they weren't doing so much then. That's why he dominated, because he was dedicated.
You said about being the boss of the firm and getting up there. I'm going to take you back to when a young Michael Van Gelder was chasing Phil Taylor. Could you see that rivalry developing from a young age of Michael's hunger and desire to get to Phil?
Well, the first thing I heard about Michael Van Gelder was, you know, was George Noble mentioned it one time. He said about this young lad from Holland, and he said he's the next big thing. You know, he's got everything. And then, you know, you start looking for results, because obviously he was playing on the BDO circuit, and he was beating players. He beat Phil, he beat Raymond. He was hitting 9 darters, and he was you could see he was a fantastic talent. But when Michael first came across, he struggled a bit. He did. I think, you know, because of his age and everything, I think he had it all. He had it all. He practice. All of that's to practice. From the very start, that's one thing I noticed. They practice more than anyone. But Michael, you know, we could see that he wanted it straight away, and you know, and it was hard because, you know, he had the great Phil Taylor. You know, and he wanted to be Phil straight away, which a lot of youngsters do, you know. But he gradually got the grips with. I think Michael was not part on, like, I was thinking, no, it's not for me. You know, when I was looking at him from running tournaments at a time where he wasn't winning them, I think it could have been. He might not have been, yeah. But his determination have changed him so around, and he's turned into Phil Taylor, where everybody now wants to beat, and he dominates things. When he's on form, it's, you know, it's the bookie's nightmare if somebody's, you know, they want an outsider doing it. Michael's there, you know what I mean? It's just like Phil used to be.
When you're in and around the back all the time, can you sense when something special is going to happen out on that stage? Do you get the buzz and the vibe off the players? Can you sense when someone's really in the mood for it?
Yeah, nowadays, yes, you can. In the old days, everyone used to be, would be there thinking, right, they'd be there trying to win as much money as they could. Now, they want the money's there, but a lot of them want the success as well, which come hand in hand, as you know. And you just look at Michael. You look at Michael, and he wants to win everything, which is good. You know what I mean? To drive yourself on, he doesn't like losing. And he doesn't lose that much. But he does get beat because players are getting better. You look at Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson, fantastic talent, I think. I mean, when he's on fire, him and Michael, I think, you know, there's no better game you'd want to watch in the world. You know, in any sport, in my eyes. It's so exciting to watch because they just play darts, nothing else. And Gary, you know, he doesn't, you know, he's getting on a bit now, but he doesn't practice as much as anybody else. You know, everyone's practicing all the time. Gary will go up there and have a throw. He likes to sit down and have a laugh and a joke, and I'll relax with him. You know, it is, you know, it swings and roundabouts in for everything. But, you know, I said, you see the Nathan Aspinalls now, you know, he's taking it as a job because he nearly packed in. Yeah. You know, he nearly packed in and, you know, I speak to Nathan a lot, and he uses Leighton restarts, and which, you know, that's how we started talking. And he's a lovely lad, and he's doing it the right way, you know, which a lot of players are nowadays.
Where the stakes are so high now, we're seeing more and more disagreements on the hockey, shall we say, where the stakes are so high. When you see it happening on stage, do you think, oh, I've got a tough one coming back? When they come backstage, trying to make sure everything's all right in the back room, do you think, oh, here we go, this is going to be an interesting one?
Yes, I do, yeah. That's why I've gone grey and gone bald, It's because they're playing for a lot of money, It's not like where they're going to work and they're getting irregular pay. It's like, we're talking difference of thousands and thousands. Your world final, what's it, £600,000, is it? You know what I mean? £600,000. And then you've got the first round losers around about 15,000,
yeah.
So it's life changing, and they're trying to provide for their families, and it can be tough, but it's there and it's gone, if you know what I mean. It comes out. It's adrenaline. It comes off a stage, but when it's gone from it calms down, and it's like anything. You have disagreements everywhere.
That half hour afterwards, they're all fine. It's just that initial burst at the time.
Of course it is. It's like I said, I don't think there's many sports like this, where they come off together, they go on together, they come off together, they practice in the same room. They with each other for a long time, and being there, what I see. What I try to do is I like to laugh and joke with them. They take the mick out of me. I mean, they used to wind me up. Where Michael used to be terrible. I used to have to wear a radio, some events, and I'd have a earpiece. Which, if you had it turned up too much, we used to scream down the radio. We used to get Tommy Cox's radio and scream down it. Oh, I nearly fell over one night walking up a stairs because he was behind me. And but it's things like that. They relaxed, and that's what I try to do. I laugh and joke with them. I give, for instance, last night with Glenn Durant, he was there, and I was laughing and joking with him, talking about walk-on songs, and it's relaxing. And you can see when they go on that board, it's tense, so you will get the odd argument.
You've seen the very best come and go from Backstage. Obviously, Phil went 18 months ago. Raymond is going this year. Is it a real transitional period? And what's it like when these big names leave the locker room for the last time?
It's sad for me because obviously I've been with them now like the longest a players marshal has been. I think before me, I think the longest was 6 or 7 years, and I've been now 11 years. And seeing Raymond go this year, it's like Phil, it's a legend going out of the game. But what they have done, they are creating new legends through all these youngsters on a development tour, and they're absolutely dedicated. A lot of them are dedicated. A lot of them are raw. Don't get me wrong, but you can see that they've got talent. If you can hit a 10 dart, you can't fluke a 10 dart or 11 darter. It's just getting consistency, which a lot of them are getting now, and they're not afraid of the big names no more, where they used to be. So seeing like Phil go in and Raymond, obviously Gary's getting on, Peter Wright's getting on. We've got some of the top names that are old, but they still got the game to beat anyone when they want to. The youngsters coming through, they look at them and they want to be Gary Anderson, Phil Taylor, Michael Van Gerwen, Peter Wright. They want to be them, which is a good thing, which for the game.
Let's take you back to that sad night in Liverpool as well, when Eric sadly left us. Again, an absolute legend of the sport, and someone that you knew well when we were chatting before, and you said you knew him very well. What was that like? That I can only imagine what you guys felt that night, that a legend actually passed in the venue. The way it all happened must have been something that you'll never forget, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I was abroad at the time. I was abroad, and somebody said, "Well, Eric's dead." Oh no, God, I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? It's the year before in Blackpool, I played golf with him, which is a fun day. Absolutely brilliant. I knew him from years, long time ago through Leighton Rees. I'll give a story. When I was playing county for Glamorgan, and I was stood by the bar on a Sunday afternoon, and the draw came out, And I was with Ken Thomas, a good friend of mine, Welsh international, who Eric knew very well. And he went, fancy a little flutter on this game, yeah? It was Di Furnish from Wales, from Cardiff, Glamorgan, very good player, only a little Di, and he was playing somebody called Phil Taylor. Nobody knew, so he said, no. He said, all right, he said, so Di Furnish went up and hit the 13 dart, I think it was, first leg. He said, do you want to still want to go? No, next you know, Phil chucked in 3 under 15 legs, which is a high standard back in the late 80s, and bang, yeah, look what we become of him. And Eric, he took me in his trophy room, and you know, obviously being a want to be top dart player, you know, from watching him on the telly, him and Leighton, and you know, Jockey and all of them, and I just looked at his snooker room and his trophies, and you know, I was privileged to have met, you know, to me, the man who brought darts onto the map, you know, with the likes of Alan Evans and John Lowner and Leighton. He was a legend, and this week I won his Memorial Golf Trophy, having only played since last year. In his last year, the first one last year, which my friend Andrew Davis won, and I was going back to Wales again, and I'm so proud of that. I mean, yes, you know, nobody can ever take that away from me, and you know, it's great.
Another sad day was when obviously Tommy Cox left as well, one of the founding members of the PDC, and just listening to people around talking about Tommy. He wasn't everyone's cup of tea, but everyone respected him. I think that was the most important thing.
Correct. Yeah. Tommy, it was, you know, obviously Tommy was the one who started with Dick, and it was sad when he died, because me and Tommy was you know, very friendly before he, you know, near the end, you know, when he was ill. We used to go out, we'd go on trips, on road trips when we was, you know, Vegas and everything. We'd go somewhere before, and we had a great time. You know, Tommy liked to do things his way. Off the thing is, we, you know, we'd go to this bar. Yeah, Tommy. But we always had fun. He was very mischievous. Very mischievous. He liked to laugh and a joke. But like I said, when it came to you know, he'd put a player straight. You know, which is correct. You know, you've got to. You know, he's running something, you know, like anybody in charge of something, they're in charge, and they should listen to people, and Tommy was more or less always listened to, you know, he is sadly missed, you know, and God rest his soul. I hope he's up there now with Eric and that, sorting out another PDC up there with the old legends.
As well, I'm going to touch on Welsh darts now as well. Has Welsh darts ever been in a better place than what it is now, with the likes of Gowan Price, Johnny Clayton, all competing at the top? I could go on, Richie Burnett back playing well, as we saw, Jamie Lewis, the list is endless.
Oh, it's great. TV-wise, you know, even the BDO, you look at the BDO now, when you've got Jim Williams and Wayne Warren doing really well, Nick Kenny, you know, so all these players in the both organisations, is Welsh players now coming through. With the likes of like Johnny, I could tell the story, but when I asked him to come along to the PDC in a tournament, and he wouldn't, you know, because he was working, and you know, it cost money, and I said, John, there's always somebody there who's looking for a management, who's looking for a nice player to help along, you know, and I said, I can guarantee you will get one. And chatting away with him a couple of times, he come along, and then I introduced him to certain people, and the lad has gone from there to there. Jamie Lewis, I knew him as a young lad, he used to get on a chair to get his darts out, but he'd be hitting 13 darters, 12 darters, at 11, 12, 13 years of age, and fantastic player. You could see he had it. He's going through a little bit of a downward period at the moment, but he's so young, I keep on telling him, you know, form comes and goes, but class is always around. He's a class player. Gerwyn Price, come from a rugby background, so did I. Not as high level as himself, but he's doing fantastic at the moment. Winning TV tournaments. So his Welsh boys winning TV tournaments was brilliant. He's not everybody's cup of tea, but he's doing a job, and he's doing it his way. So, we're all different. If we was all the same, it'd be a boring world. So he's very good, and you've got Barry Bates, who's back on the pro tour. He was up to I think he was number 12, 13 in the world a long time ago, and I was the one who was asked by a friend of his called Alf Matthews, would I take him round the dart tournaments and all that years ago, round the BDO and all that, and then we ended up going to the PDC, and Barry was fantastic. He won player of the year, floor player and all that. That's an achievement. And he beat Phil in the final. And that's an achievement, because not many people did. Beat Phil in the final. He used to beat him in the first round or something like that. But he was, Richie Burnett, he speaks for himself. Probably, to me, the greatest dart player Wales have ever had. Mad as hell.
Mad as hell.
Oh yes, without a doubt. But a lot of Welsh people are. But it's been tough for him to get back to the standard he used to be, because, like I said, there's so many youngsters now. But he's got the game still to beat anybody.
We spoke to Richie at Cardiff, and it was great to see him smiling and enjoying the game again. Obviously, what was it like when you found out that he had failed that drugs test and was going to get a ban? Because obviously, as a friend, that must, God, Richie, what have you done? But also, as such a fantastic player, what would drive him to do that? So you must have been thinking, is he okay and everything like that?
Well, yeah, I was actually working the tournament. It was a qualifier, and he didn't drink on the day, because he'd been out on the weekend. He had partying or whatever. He'd been, I think, Cardiff, I think it was a stag or whatever on the weekend. I don't know what he'd done. It's nothing to do with me really. But I thought to myself, in this day and age, you've got to be clean and everything, because it's in every sport. I don't think he does anything. He doesn't do anything intentionally to enhance his game, because he's such a talented player. Dull as a brush, but like I said, the most talented player. He was probably the best player behind Phil a long time ago, when he was a world number one in the BDO, and even with Raymond around, he was better than Raymond at the time. But Raymond was more professional, probably, and Richie is a valley boy. But talent-wise, probably, like I said, probably the best. Him. He's Alan Evans. He's Alan Evans, but a bit duller.
You've seen them all come and go, so we're going to put you on the spot here with a couple of them. The best player you've ever seen play?
All right. Well, I'll give you the answer I give to everyone. I think, obviously, because of what he's done in the game, Phil, in ways, his professionalism and from start to finish, is probably the greatest dart player. But I think Michael is the most exciting player to watch in the world by far, and Gary is behind him as well, right? So them three, to me, I would like to be as successful as Phil, but I'd love to have the talent that Michael has got, and Gary, them two. Like I say, Michael is just, we all need a Michael Van Gerwen in the sport. You don't want like we all talk about different sports, and Peter Ebdons and different things, slow the game. And when you see Michael, every youngster, you don't see many slow dart players nowadays. They're all boom, boom, boom. Which Michael did, and Michael, he's worked hard at it. He's worked hard at it. It hasn't been given to him. Practice, and he deserves everything he's got. So them two, followed by Gary and Raymond.
Who's the biggest natural talent you've seen? Maybe not succeed the most, but when you see them play, go, yeah, this boy.
Natural talent. I'd have to go Gary, Michael. Obviously Michael probably practiced a hell of a lot more than Gary. Probably practiced more, as a youngster. Probably practiced more than Gary did in 1 year than Gary would in 10. But Gary's got a natural talent. He's got a lovely throw. Not a lot can go wrong with it. If Gary wants to win something, he can win it. Obviously like Michael. So I would say Gary has most natural talent.
Biggest joker in the back?
Gary likes to joke. Michael loves a wind up. Adrian Lewis. Oh, no, another fantastic. We have mentioned him. I've known him from when he first came along to where he is now, and he's gone through a lot in his life, private life, and things like that. But talent-wise, he's another one of the natural talents, without a doubt. We forgot about Adrian, and he is phenomenal. Like, he's done with world titles like he has, being a no-good dart player, and he will come back as well. You know, there's signs of him coming back, but it's like I said, it's hard now. They're all getting older, even though Adrian's not that old.
Yeah.
You know?
When you look back across your career so far, is there one standout moment that you'll never ever forget?
I marked the first 9 darter in the World Championship, in the PDC World Championship. Raymond. I've got the sheet and his flights and everything, and he signed it, and we got a photo and everything, and I was very proud, you know, to do the first one in the World Championship. You know, people like Gary would have done loads. You know, he's been marked around. You know, all the boys have. I think everyone's a marked one on TV, but doing that is, you know, such, you know, when somebody hits that, they've hit the perfect. You know, it's like probably refereeing a 147, anything again. Can I ask you a question?
Of course you can.
You know, you've been in sport for a while and everything. I have this argument, and I still say, what's the hardest, 147 or 9 darter?
We were talking about this on Twitter the other day. Now,
I know what I think.
Everyone says a 147 is harder than a 9 darter. My argument is, technically, you could fluke a 147. You cannot fluke a 9 darter.
No, exactly.
And which is why I say a 9 darter finish is harder than a 147.
It's a lot quicker, but the thing, look at Ronnie O'Sullivan now. He can do it. What's his record?
5 minutes,
5
spirals or something like that.
You know,
yeah.
You know, that's pretty easy to do, isn't it? Yeah. If you think about it. There's so many 9 darters nowadays, right? People say, oh, see, but people, like I said, people are dedicating themselves. So all these youngsters are doing it. Yeah. But nine darts, like, you can fluke a ball, which Thorburn did, and you've got, when that pack's there, you've got 15 reds in 6 different pockets with it. You haven't got that. You know what I mean? You could go for position on one ball, red, not be on it, but be on another red. So everyone will have the argument, but I think like you, darts.
I'm with you there. Dean, it's an absolute pleasure. For the last half an hour we've been sat here chatting away darts. It's great to pick your brain and something a little bit different, and people, I hope they appreciate this, because it's stuff that the players obviously don't know, and it's that other side of darts we're trying to get across. So thank you very much for taking time out to speak to us, as always, mate.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. Thank you very much. Cheers, Phil.